Hello, welcome. It's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to create a space of healing and support that I trust supports you. And I'll be working with my Healing Energy cards. That's Healing Energy cards Deck 1 and Deck 2 combined. And I've got my my crystal singing bowl also. So I'll talk more about what I'm going to be doing shortly. Before I do, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I'm coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia, where it is Wednesday, the 24th of April 2024, and the time is 5:14 p.m. So welcome. I want to send out a big extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. So I've been making my first t-shirt today with one of my drawings, which I'm very excited to be wearing, although I'm not usually a white person, but you know, I'm just sort of learning and figuring it out. So this stallion, which was painted on a drum a few years ago, so it feels nice to wear a bit of my art for once, and hopefully this will be the first of many artworks that are going to be coming to tops and scarves and things. So just starting a new bit of a learning time with that. So anyway, we'll see where that goes. So if you're new to watching, welcome. What I'll be doing is I'll be hanging out for the next 15 to 20 minutes, and I'll be creating a space of healing and support. So what we do and where we go with this is anyone's guess. I haven't come here with any plan really, except that I'm going to pull a Healing Energy card. That's going to govern what direction and what our focus is for today or for this particular video. And then I'm going to play the quartz singing bowl to support that, whatever it is. And then I'm going to pull another card to go. So the card to go will be me thinking about, as I'm pulling the card, what do we need to carry whatever we've learned forward into our life? What's next kind of thing. So what it's going to be talked about, I don't know. We'll see what the cards want and which card I pull to govern that. So I trust that you're well. Just think of this as a guide, and I trust that something shared supports you. Just take on board what feels right and what resonates and what fits into your life easily, and let the rest go. Really pay attention to the things that seem personal and that you can relate to in some way that you've got going on. So I'm using my Healing Energy cards. So I have two decks combined, like with my Oracle. So we've got the original deck here that's upgraded and my new Healing Energy cards Deck 2. New as in they came out about a year ago. Hello Layla, welcome. So I'll use these cards. I use these for healing and support for myself and when I'm doing healing work with other people. So the best card that the majority of us need now as we move into this time of healing and support is this. It's from the second deck, and it is this card here. It's actually the last card in the deck, card 110, which is very cool, and we've got 10 viewers at the moment, and it's called Coming Full Circle. It's in the rise category here, and down here it says the end of an old era and the start of a new era. Life goes on. Endings are also beginnings. You know, that's really powerful to remember, especially when we're in the middle of endings, and also we're in the beginning of beginnings, when we're starting some new beginning, that always there are endings and beginnings that go together in some way. Sometimes the polarity of those energies is stronger than other times, and sometimes we barely notice that something's ending. when we're starting something new. And sometimes we barely notice something is starting when actually we're going through a big ending of sorts. So it's interesting perspective to think about if you are going through this endings, beginnings thing. It says completion, a new phase starts, bittersweet, message, and close the door. Close the door. Bittersweet is not always, in fact, it's rarely comfortable, is it? Sometimes it's good with the bad, and sometimes we've got to take the good with the bad. And I think that sort of comes back to that sort of idea of endings are also beginnings, that sometimes there is good amongst that, and sometimes there is not so good, that we also need to go through. So there is this sort of this bittersweet feeling. So what have you got that's ending at the moment? And what have you got that's beginning? And where are you at with these things? Do you feel like you're coming full circle somehow, or that some phase or really important era, a chapter of your life is coming to an end, or perhaps is beginning? So that's very much what this card is about. So because it is the last card in the deck as well, it kind of makes me feel that there is something finalizing or something finishing that is potentially springboarding us to the next level if we take the opportunity that exists within that particular ending. And again, it comes back to that idea of endings are also beginnings. Sometimes if we've gone through a really difficult ending of something and we didn't want it to happen, and we're really resisting accepting the reality of this particular door closing, it can be very difficult. And in fact, part of us can refuse to even want to see the beginning or the opportunity within that particular ending. So what is shifting, what is opening, what is ending for us, what is sort of transitioning in? It does feel like this ending is wanting to elevate us. In other words, it feels like we're sort of moving up on this spiral path, that this door closing is also helping, potentially, if we see that or not yet, it's another thing, but it potentially elevating us and bringing us to a new level in our life as well. So it's showing that there is opportunity in whatever it is that we're dealing with right now, and especially the parts that are really quite difficult that we might not even be ready to see as an opportunity yet. So it's going to be probably a matter of time before we're ready to open up to the idea of, okay, what's the good in this particular situation? What can I learn about myself from this? Or how can I turn this situation around? How can I turn this challenge into an opportunity and see what happens and what evolves from there is the feeling. So coming full circle is our card. I'm going to get the singing bowl. Welcome everybody. It's so good to see you here. Thanks for joining me today. So I'm going to play the singing bowl. This is quartz. It aligns with the throat chakra. So the throat chakra is about communication, expression and truth, and feeling safe to speak our truth and feeling safe to be who we are. And maybe there's something too that's connected here for some of us in regards to these endings in particular, but maybe for some of us it's new beginnings, but in particular endings that requires us to communicate and speak up. Maybe there are things that we need to say to other people in regards to this situation, or maybe we need to come clean with ourselves. You know, what is the truth here? What have we been bottling up? What have we been holding back in regards to how we really feel about something or someone? And what can we do in this particular situation that's perhaps triggering such things? How can we express and communicate in a way that's reasonably safe and comfortable for us to do that? I personally find one of the best ways to do it is in the journal, is just having a private place in my journal where I can write down anything I want, anything that's on my mind, so that I don't bottle it up and it doesn't build and it doesn't brew and it doesn't fester and the pressure builds and then one day it explodes, which is what tends to happen if we're not finding some expressive outlet for whatever it is that we might be feeling or going through. So there might be quite deep buried things that are wanting to come up at the moment that might be triggered by the endings / beginnings that some of us might be dealing with. And it feels right deep down in the dark pits of our being and our body is where we're probably uncovering and probably trying to suppress and squash down those deep, deep feelings and truths and even issues that we've been carrying for a long time. So this is an opportunity for us to let these things pop up to the surface, to confront them, to express them in a safe way that's constructive. So maybe journal writing, maybe talking with someone, maybe something creative as a way of expression, or something physical. You know, it's like physical activity, physical exercise is also a great way of expressing and getting this energy moving out of the body and bringing or letting ourselves release that stuff that's popping up to the surface. So there's some deep things that want to, well, they're already popping up. So what are we going to do with them? Are we going to just suppress them back down again? Or are we going to use this as an opportunity to clear the air once and for all, or for good, and so that we can move up in our life to the next level? So I'm going to play the singing bowl. There's nothing you can do wrong. Just listen and let the sound of the bowl support you. And if what I'm saying is resonating with you, maybe use the sound of the bowl to help you connect with these deep bottled up parts of yourself that have been popping up to the surface lately, that perhaps you've been triggered recently. Maybe you're feeling quite sensitive, and maybe there are some things that are difficult to find words to explain that you feel inside. So work with your breathing, work with the bowl as you support yourself to release and to let go. It's sort of this release, rebirth kind of feeling, you know, releasing to rebirth. This is goes hand in hand with this endings and beginnings. So enjoy, nice big breath. Okay, nice big breath. Okay, and that's that. I trust you enjoyed the bowl, and I trust that perhaps it's helped get things started for you, especially if you've been feeling bottled up or a bit overly sensitive lately. So if you just joined in, I was playing the bowl with this card in mind, card 110, called Coming Full Circle. And it's also showing, you know, that everything's connected somehow. It's interesting when doing healing, like self-healing, which is really important to me and has been for a number of years now. In fact, I can go into the decades, probably, because it's been since the year 2000. So, you know, almost a quarter of a century that I've been very devoted to my self-healing. And it's very interesting how everything is connected. You know, this issue dealing over here in our life, that issue over there, this issue, that issue, you know, they're all these separate issues. They seem separate, but every single time I've noticed that and I've written down these separate issues and I've written them down in my journal and, you know, just like a few keywords or, you know, I've got an issue with that person. Why is this situation, whatever, this is triggering me, whatever it might be. It could be a bunch of different things. And when I get them down in black and white there on the paper in front of me and I actually step back and look at these things, they are all connected. And they're all connected out from the one common thread with all these issues, which is the self. So everything really is connected. And if you feel like you've got a bunch of different things going on, and also, you know, key things like, gosh, why do all these people have communication issues around me? Or, you know, why is this person not replying to my email, and that person, you know, the more we're noticing it happening in separate instances and situations around us, the more they're pointing to the same core issue. So everything is connected. Nothing that we're experiencing on the good side or the not so good side is separate. So sometimes it's really interesting to sit with the journal, if you've got a few minutes, and write down all the things that you're noticing right now, the issues, but also the good things, and look at what's the common thread with all of these things. What is this? What are these situations trying to tell me? So thank you very much for joining today. I'm going to pull a card to go in just a minute. But before I do, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this video, please interact. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to. And if you'd prefer to connect more privately, please send us a message through our website. If you'd like to learn more about my healing energy cards or the work that I do at Temple of Balance, then please visit templeofbalance.com.au. If you resonate with my approach and my attitude and my perspective on things, then you might find some great resources on my website. So please check it out. Okay, we'll just pick up all the cards that I dropped here. Let's look for the best card for what's next. So I'm thinking, how can we carry through what's come up into our everyday life? Because that's where it really matters and can mean something. It's easy to sit here and watch videos like this, hopefully. It's easy to sit here and watch something, but the hard part, the tricky part, the challenging part is bringing what we learn into our life and into ourselves to help us have or find an improved life or an improved sense of self. So if you want to really improve things for you, this is the card I'm looking for. How can we bring this energy forward into our life? How can we keep releasing and rebirthing? How can we keep moving through these endings and beginnings that are so prevalent right now? That kind of thing. So the majority of us, I'm looking for the best card, the majority of us need to know in regards to what's next. And that best card is here. So what do we need to think about as we move forward from here when we turn this off is here. From the second deck again. And we have navigation. Card 63, navigation. It's in neutral, the neutral category, which is center. This is like a blank canvas. It's the crossroad. And down here it says, get your bearings. Work out which way to go. Trust in your inner compass. Direction, navigate, passage through, consideration, steer yourself, and be clear. This has a sort of navigational feel like being out in the ocean and on a boat and we're trying to get our bearings and work out which way's north and which way points up, which way points down. And, you know, we might be feeling a bit of the opposite of that at the moment in our life. Some of us might be really confused about which way is up and which way is down and where are we going. Things have probably changed so much, and they're probably still changing. We're probably amidst change now. So the compass is just spinning, and sometimes some moments we might think, oh, yep, this is the direction I'm going because that's pointing north, that's pointing forward. And then something shifts and the compass sort of spins a bit more, and then the compass is pointing this way. So then we need to quickly sort of swivel and adjust and then take a few steps that way. And then we go through the same thing over and over again. So there is this sort of disorientation, this confusing, directionless kind of feeling in general. And it's kind of hard to feel much direction and purpose for extended periods right now too. So there seem to be sort of short bursts of direction, and then this confusing kind of feeling where we're probably feeling disorientated, and then that sense of direction again. So I think what we really need to consider doing, what I've noticed really helpful, is adjusting and kind of trying to flow with it, flow with the direction when we feel it. And then when it kind of shakes up a bit, or we get confused, or we don't know which way's up, we need to find a way to adapt and adjust, and then be open to a bit of a different shift, like a shift in the direction or a shift in the arrow. So this is like a navigation that we're sort of figuring out as we go at the moment, as we get our bearings, as we work out which way to go, and as we trust in these intuitions, but also the shifts that are occurring on such regular and subtle levels as well, but also very loud. So our direction is probably important right now too, with some of us, really wanting to know what's going to happen in the situation, but we just don't know right now. So we have to be patient too, because we can't know prematurely. So if we're wanting to know so desperately and impatiently, what is this thing exactly going to look like? When is it going to happen? What is the date? What is the time? And we need to know. Then we might need to detach and step back a little bit, step into our patience, which in other words is trusting in perfect timing, that's going to be revealed at the right time. And we might need to find something else to do while we wait, so we don't get all caught up in our desperation and neediness, need to know now. So there are these kinds of things that can go against this kind of weird spinning of the compass right now. If we're really fixed on having to know exactly the direction, exactly the details, then that is probably not going to work very well for us right now, because we probably miss the subtleties of the spin and then that little bit of direction that we get from the compass, the few strides forward before the compass spins again and then points in another direction. And it doesn't feel like we're zigzagging, although it can kind of feel like we are as well. But it feels like there's just something that's shifting at the moment as we're figuring out the best path forward. Almost like we've got a few different options and the paths keep shifting. They keep rising or they keep lowering. So we have to adjust as we go. So see how you go. If you have this deck, the Healing Energy Cards too, and this resonates with you and you're trying to get your bearings and figure out and adjust to your navigational issues right now, then this could be a great card to keep close by for a couple of days. So that's that. Thanks for joining me today. I trust you've enjoyed this video. Have a great couple of days, and I'll be back to share with you again very soon. Thank you very much, and goodbye for now.